Hey Trail Riders, welcome back to the Daily Ride. I hope you guys are doing well. Today we're going to be talking about purely from the Word. Power passage comes to us today from Ezra 8:22, which says, "And the hand of our God is upon all those for good who seek Him, but His power and His wrath are against all those who forsake Him." Power thought for today comes from Psalm 119, verse 11, which says, "Your word I have hidden my heart, that I might not sin against you." Connecting passage for today is Judges 6, 1 through 40, Judges 7, 1 through 25, Judges 8, 1 through 35, the whole book of Ezra, and Psalm 119, verse 11. The scriptures that get us through the Bible in a year is 1 Samuel 20, 1 Corinthians 2, Lamentations 5, and Psalm 36. The book of Judges tells us about Gideon, who had heard about the great things that God had done when He brought the people up out of Egypt, and wanted to see the same God at work in his day. He believed that the mighty arm of 2 centuries before had not lost its strength. Gideon rightly asked, "Where are all His miracles which our fathers told us about?" God showed him. The story of Gideon tells how a great triumph came about without human prowess or power. God delivered little Israel again, as He had delivered them before from Egypt, by soundly defeating the largest army of desert people ever mustered in those days, that they never recovered to invade Israel again. Gideon only knew God from the past until then. Some years later, we read about the faith of Ezra, who belonged to the Jewish priestly caste and was brought up in Babylon as a palace officer and highly thought of by the emperor of the Medo-Persia. He brought nearly 6,000 of his exile people back home, traveling through countryside infested with lawless tribesmen who ruthlessly preyed on travelers. The emperor wanted Ezra and his people to travel under military protection during their 5-month journey. But Ezra boasted that God, who had looked after Israel for 40 years in the wilderness and brought them out of Egypt, could take care of them very well for 5 months. That sounds very religious, but the truth is that neither Ezra nor anybody else at that time had ever seen a vision, ever heard God's voice, witnessed a healing or miracle, or had any sign from God whatsoever. Ezra was not a prophet. Ezra had nothing but the scriptures. But he believed God, resting purely upon the written scriptures. He put the whole project into operation under the wings of the Lord. This kind of raw faith, purely based on God's will, is available to you and I today. Quiet time thought comes to us today from Colossians 1:27, which says, "To whom God willed to make known what is the riches of the glory of the mystery among the Gentiles, which is Christ in you, the hope of glory." Philip Brooks had this to say about this passage. "Religion is not a simple fire escape that you build in anticipation of possible danger upon the outside of your dwelling, and leave there until danger comes. You go into some mourning when the fire breaks out in your house, and the poor old thing that you built there and thought that you could use someday is so rusty and broken and the weather has beaten upon it, and the sun has turned its hinges, that it will not work. That is the condition of a man who has built himself what seems a creed of faith, a trust in God in anticipation of the day when danger will overtake him, and has said to himself, I am safe, for I will take refuge in it then. But religion is the house in which we live. It is the table at which we sit. It is the fireside of which we draw near. The room that arcs its graceful and familiar presence over us is the bed on which we lie and think of the past and anticipate the future and gather our refreshment. God bless you guys. I hope you'll continually follow me here on the Daily Ride, and I'll see you on the next trail ride.